There's something Danny G said in our pre-show meeting, and I thought it was just a great phrase. We were saying how the Celtics, you don't want to leave this door open if you're the Miami Heat or a Miami Heat fan, because it's very different than what the Lakers are doing. The Lakers, if they had won Game 4, I know that's old news now. Denver Nuggets going to their first NBA Finals ever. But if the Lakers had won that Game 4, they had such an uphill battle because they were, as Danny would say, they were slinging rocks against Goliath. They were the little guy trying to beat the top team.
Yeah, they played the best they could.
And just couldn't do it.
They couldn't do it.
Yeah, they were just, sometimes, as LeBron and AD said, the best team they played against as a duo.
The Denver Nuggets really did look that good.
They're that good. Even when the Lakers had their hottest moments in games, they would always be like, oh, there's the third quarter. They outscored the Lakers by 20.
But if you're going to quote Danny G, you have to say, yeah.
Oh,
they
sorry.
were slinging rocks, yeah.
Yeah, Danny, you might as well say it. They were slinging rocks.
So he was slinging rocks?
Against Goliath,
Against Goliath.
I don't sound like that.
Against Goliath.
If you're the Boston Celtics, all along, you've been the better team. This Jimmy Buckets playoff mammoth, this is an anomaly. Jimmy Buckets is a great player, but the Celtics could very well be that team. If there's ever going to be a team that comes back, you leave that door open. As Charles Barkley said, Game 5 in Boston, he thinks is a lock.
He said it's a cakewalk.
So now it's 3-2.
Well, the Celtics said, don't let us win last night. Don't let us win because now you're opening up the floodgates. You give us a crack, we're knocking the door down.
What happens when someone gives you a crack? Just asking. No, nothing?
Nothing.
Okay, well, if you let the Celtics, if you give them a crack, they go to the Boston area, they win Game 5. Them winning on the road when they're, quote, a better team isn't crazy. So I'm not the guy that's saying, like, first team ever. So what is it now? 0 and 150 when teams drop down to 3-0. Maybe this is the year. If Jimmy Butler gets cold,
he just had a bad game, and they did. Celtics 116, Heat 99. So the Celtics get 3 games to 1. Cakewalk in Game 5. We'll find out. We got to wait another day. And even worse than that, we're going to have to wait until June 1st for the actual NBA Finals, which feels like forever.
Which could work to the advantage of the Miami Heat or Boston if they have some miraculous comeback. I mean, Denver's going to be sitting on their rear ends for 10 days. So it's like Jokic, MVP-level play. Jamal Murray was, hotter than any girl on Instagram. They were playing so well that do you really want that team to sit on their butts for 10 days? Look what happened. I mean, I know it's a different sport, but look what happened to the Dodgers last year. Best team in the National League sat around waiting for the wild card series for a week and then lost in the first round. It happened. So I just wanted to give you the perfect analogy, Kurt Hennig style. Mr. Perfect.
Well, if you're going to give Mr. Perfect analogies, we need the theme music.
Oh,
so
you got to get
let
that
Ramos
to Ramos
know next time.
Yeah.
We need that in the system. Bum, 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 bum,
The Mr. Perfect theme might be one of the best.
Oh, I think it is. We need that. We need that, DJ Ramos, next time Rich has a perfect analogy.
So, the Lakers, when they were down 3-0, obviously, they're out
you were
of it.
not buying it.
I'm talking about. It's old news now. They lost.
I was trying to get people hyped up about the chances, the probabilities, but the Nuggets were too good.
Yeah. So, but that would be like fourth quarter. You're a Steelers fan. You're down 21, and Kenny Pickett's your guy. You're like, are we really going to come back?
Well, you know what I didn't want to say, Rich, is like, you don't hot dog it. You got to play to win. That's the mindset. That's LeBron's mindset. That's the team's mindset. Austin Reeves, that's his mindset. He was talking about it. You go there to win. Plus, you never know what's going to happen. I would never wish this or manifest it or jinx any team. But, Jamal Murray could have stubbed his toe. And he's out for the rest of the season. Series.
Someone could have landed on Jokic's ankle.
You know what I mean? And now, wow, it's 3-1. It's a whole different series, and anything could have happened. I didn't want to jinx that, but anything could have happened.
My analogy is the Lakers trying to come back down 3-0 to the Nuggets was like down 21 in the fourth quarter, and you're a Steelers fan, and it's like, all right, Kenny Pickett could. No, it's not going to happen. Now, if you're the Celtics down 3-0, sort of like one of those playoff games where you got Mahomes, the Chiefs somehow stumbled out to they're losing by 17 or 21 in the first half, and you're like, we got Mahomes. It's possible. And I think Celtic fans should think it's possible. I mean, it is. You got 3 games left. You got to win all 3. 2 of them are in Boston against a, quote, lesser opponent. It's not over, so if you're rooting for any excitement, hey, maybe that's it. Maybe you root for the Celtics to make it a series.
Oh, yeah. Charles said they would.
Cakewalk.
Man, now you're tuned in for sure. You're like, oh, okay, wait a second. This is good.
Any final thoughts, by the way, fellas? Danny G, Ramos, on the Celtics? Is it a pipe dream, or you think it could be the one time in NBA history where the 3-0 is starting to seem not crazy?
I know Dan Byer had a thought on this as well before we wrap it up, but on paper, the Celtics should have never got in this hole to begin with.
True.
But with
Yep.
Jimmy Butler on the other side and the baller he is during the postseason, I don't see how the next game is a cakewalk.
Yeah.
It's a home game, but obviously they've lost some home games there.
Spoelstra is, arguably one of the best coaches, and
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler is one of the biggest game players. So, I mean, you're likely still going to win the series, but Dan, what do you think? 3-0, now it's 3-1. They go to Boston. It's starting to look a little like possible.
Well, I think the reason is, and this is my thing ever since it happened last night, this is my thing I'm going to talk about, is you've not seen an 8 seed jump out to a 3-0 lead on a higher seed team. So
Unprecedented times.
yes, it's almost unheard of. And so now you have a scenario where we haven't seen this very often. We've seen teams go up 3-0, but it's usually the better team. And now how it plays out in the schedule, it's such an advantage for Boston to have this Game 5 in Boston. And then it completely puts the pressure on Miami. I even think if we were honest with each other and looked back at the Lakers series, even if the Lakers would have won Game 4, really how difficult maybe it would have been for them to go and win Game 5.
It's like slinging rocks against Goliath.
Yes. But now you look at this
That
scenario,
was at Goliath.
At Goliath.
and it isn't as far-fetched. And so Charles Barkley was right in how we look at everything. It all likely will come down to Game 6. At least that's what it appears on paper. But the reason is because of we haven't seen this lower seeded team, let alone an 8 seed, jump out to a 3-0 lead on a higher seeded team. And when you break it down, and I use the old NBA Finals scheduling of 2-3-2. Remember they used to do it. Now they do 2 games, 1-1, and 1.
The 1-1-1 is game-changing.
It is, and it actually really benefits Boston in this scenario. If you would have had a 2-3-2 scenario in these conference finals, I think that he would feel pretty good going into Game 5. It's their home game. There's not as much pressure on them, but I think it's a huge advantage for Boston. And this scheduling has been like this for a long time, so I'm not saying that the Heat are getting screwed. But when you look at how it lays out, the path is a lot easier because Boston's the better team. They now have 2 of 3 road games. They've finally been able to break through, so it isn't as far-fetched as it just appears as a normal 3-0 series lead on the surface.
Again, maybe it wasn't the Mr. Perfect analogy, but it is sort of like when you see Mahomes down by 20, you're like, you know what? If it's early enough,
sure,
you're not shocked if he comes back. You've seen playoff games where, wasn't there one against Houston or something where Mahomes was down 21-0 in the first or second?
24-0.
24-0. And it's like, well, hold on, it's early.
And Covino, I'm sorry to bring it up, but 0-4. If you're a Red Sox fan or you're a Yankees fan on the other side and you're saying, geez, they're going to have Schilling pitch, he could be available. Well, this could actually set up. I think that's kind of how this plays out with Boston and Miami right now. You can see a path. We thought we could see a path with Denver and the Lakers, but I don't know how realistic that path was.
It was more just, we have Laker friends and we live in L.A. and it's LeBron and it's a good story, but realistically, all along Denver just felt
you know what it is
so
too?
good.
You bring up 04, Dan Byer, and I hate you for that. But it's you see that momentum shift, and that's why the Heat has to put a stop to it. That's why they were saying they should never let them win yesterday anyway. But they have to stop that momentum because that's scary. Once the other team picks up, you're like, oh, no.
I think 04, and you and I always say the same thing, when Dave Roberts stole second.
That was it, yeah.
That was big. But then you look at that Dave Roberts, you're like, that's the same guy? That like
He looks like 30 years overnight.
I mean, I know that was a lot. Geez, it's almost 20 years ago, but doesn't it feel like that Dave Roberts looks like a different human?
But once he started coaching, it was hard to believe he was the same dude. So I'm with you, man. But who's the better matchup? The Celtics and the Nuggets are the better matchup, wouldn't you say?
In terms for us in watching?
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
Because as much as I believe in the Heat, and yeah, man, it looks like they might beat the Celtics still. I mean, they're still up 3-1. Come on.
I don't know
are they going to be able to compete with these Nuggets who made the Lakers look bad?
But here's the other thought too. Of all the four major sports, I wonder if there's our buddy Elias at the Sports Bureau. I wonder if he's done some homework on this. Is there any sport where you, quote, get colder easier? Like if a baseball team sits around for a week or so, you can say, oh, the bats got cold. If a football team has, they sit their players week 18 and then they have a bye and then it's like, yo, these guys haven't played for a few weeks. If you're the Denver Nuggets and you're sitting around for 10 days, I don't know what that says.
I think it's a big deal. It's a really big deal.
Yeah.
You want to keep that momentum, right?
I can't imagine.
Anything can happen in 10 days. Stay safe. I would be like, look, Jokic, don't do anything stupid. Don't go diving off a diving board or trimming the hedges. Did you see what happened to Josh Donaldson recently? He was set back because he sliced his finger open putting something together at home. It's like, just guys, we got a lot of time here.
Josh Donaldson, he's on the IL because he was putting together an IKEA furniture piece.
Yeah, no, it's like, just don't do anything dumb. Don't be playing a pickup game of wiffle ball. Just chill out. Don't be diving off of anything Memorial Day weekend. Just relax. Don't get hurt. Because that 10 days, anything could happen.
Yeah. They should hold the training camp. They should open it up tomorrow and just, hey, you got a week and a half to do so. Why not?